Hello to all my Barbs out there. My name is EJ and welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to be discussing the brand new Barbie movie. I have so much to get into, from spoilers to how just perfectly pink and deliciously weird this movie is, but mostly I want to talk about how campy and how queer this movie turned out to be. Holy smokes, I did not expect to enjoy Barbie as much as I did. Look, I knew I was going to like this movie because there was just something about the marketing, the appeal, the idea. From the very beginning, it just felt right. Like, there was just something that I'm like, ooh, this is all just falling into place. Though I saw the Will Ferrell stuff in the trailers, the Mattel side of this thing, and I got super nervous. I'm here to let you know, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was very hesitant about anything outside of Barbie Land. What was it going to be? What was going to, how were they going to handle the real world aspect of this movie? But, it's delicious. It's fun. It's smart. This movie is incredibly clever, but it's also... it's adorable, it's stupid, and I mean stupid in the best way, but it actually, it made me feel things. Like, I teared up and had tears like coming out of my eyes twice during this film. It's special. What Greta Gerwig did with this script, and her partner Noah Baumbach writing it as well, but with Greta Gerwig's directing, like, it's just, it's perfect. Like, I cannot believe where this goes, what it talks about, what it discusses, the humor, the jokes. I mean, there's a Snyder Cut joke in here, and I'm a big time Snyder fan. You can see it back there. It literally made me laugh out loud because of how just ridiculous and out of place it was. This movie is camp. It's camp in that sense of it knows it's cheesy, it knows it's being dumb and weird, but it's also, it's not embarrassed by that. It's also not trying to do it on purpose. There's a lot of elements to this, and that's what I want to discuss in this video. Why this movie basically made me gayer. Like, why this movie hit a camp queer appeal that I liked, but also what it says about feminism, what it said about women. Like, I saw this movie with my mother, and just having that a very feminist mother with me, just, discussing this movie after and seeing what all of it tried to imply and what does it say and what does it say about life and men. And not that this movie is anti-men, it's very pro-women, it's very pro-feminism, but there's a really good lesson of, girls, don't treat your Kens bad either. Like, be nice to everybody. This movie, goodness. All right, I've kind of tiptoed around spoilers, so after this section, we will be getting into spoilers for Barbie. So if you've not seen this movie yet, prepare, because I'm discussing why this movie is so campy, why it's so gay, and all of the best moments. We have stereotypical Barbie, played by Margot Robbie. She is the Barbie we all know and love. Beautiful, blonde, iconic, thin, no cellulite on that body, which is such a big talking point of this movie. Yeah, so, the stereotypical Barbie lives her great Barbie life. She has a Ken who just adores her, played by Ryan Gosling, and she's living her life until she starts having feelings and thoughts of something outside of herself. Death, what it is to have a changing body, what it is to be a woman, why isn't she attracted to her Ken? All of these questions are swirling around in her head, and she decides to go on an adventure to figure out why. She needs to go to the real world and figure out the person who is playing with her and, basically help her out. They're going to maybe try to change her world. Barbie has this different perception of the real world. She thinks it is so perfect because of what Barbies have done. It's made women great. It's added a level of, feminism to the real world, and she's shook when she goes here. Ken joins her on their journey, and yeah, that's where the movie really picks up. I really love the Barbie stuff. I really love the intro of this movie, getting us used to the Barbie world, seeing how Barbie's life is thrown off by her change of attitude and what's happening to her. And then when she goes to the real world, she figures out the truth about what's happening and why things are so hectic and crazy. And there's a lot of discussions here, but what's really happening, and I did not know was going to be a major aspect to this, is Ryan Gosling's Ken is finding the patriarchy and finding out about being a man, because in Barbie world, Kens are just Kens. They're accessories. They're just tag-alongs to their Barbies. And he said, not anymore. So he brings the real world male aspect back to Barbie Land. Basically, he becomes toxic masculinity Ken and what that does. That's also a good conversation here. It talks about toxic masculinity, but it does not say all men are bad. That is not to me the lesson of this movie. It's very much what Ken has learned from the stereotypical real world stuff. And then he has a great joke when he was like, when I found out patriarchy wasn't about horses, baby, I checked out of that. And I'm like, girl, Ken, seriously. So yeah, Barbie and Ken go on their journey. Barbie tries to figure out herself. She's ran into the girl who is playing with her, which is America Ferrera and her daughter, Ariana Greenblatt. They're just normal humans. They go to Barbie World. That's where I was so happy. We spent some time in the real world. We got our story there. We got our human characters we needed to enter Barbie World. And then we went back and we just spent so much time there. We saw how much Ken had changed it. It's just so weird and fun. And I was just happy that they went that route. This story is complex. It's layered. It's simple in a way. You know, Barbie wants to figure out who she is. But there's so many conversations to be had here. There's a scene where Barbie almost gains consciousness. She's like looking around the world and figuring out people happy, people sad, and she starts crying. And I started crying, and I'm like, what is going on? And near the end of this film, I don't want to say every little major detail, just in case you're just trying to get a quick spoiler review. No, I'm still making you go see the movie. But I like that there's this moment where she just learns about womanhood, and it's a montage, which usually normally doesn't hit me, especially a montage of what feels like stock footage at times. I don't know, there's just it worked. There's this beautiful song by Billie Eilish playing in the background, and it's emotional and it's sad, and I again teared up. And I think this movie has a lot to say, and I was really excited about the feminism aspect, about what it said about being a woman, about what Barbie has done to society. Sorry, my mic just hit. Ooh, that was a little crazy. Oh my goodness, it's just refreshing. This movie is it's a story I did not expect, and it takes turns I was happy that it took. But what really got me is the queer campy appeal of all of this. While this movie is definitely for the girls, literally women, there's so much feminism, there's so much beauty about being women in this movie, but this also does not ignore the girls, the gays. This movie has such a queer camp appeal, from the mommy dearest pink color palette to just how delicious all of these little minor characters are. When we saw Sugar Daddy Ken, I was like, girl, no you didn't. When we saw Alan, played by Michael Cera, he is a character. He is gay, possibly. Alan is the weirdest one for me, but what I love about this movie is it is truly an outsider story, which is what a lot of gay men put their stories on with women. It's why we love Buffy. It's why we attach ourselves to Kill Bill. Something about these women, you know, being put against society and having to fight their way through so much. Gay men, we relate to a lot of times. One, because we haven't had our movie like a Barbie, like a Buffy, so we're always latching ourselves onto these seemingly blonde white women, but still, you know, we talked about white saviorness in this movie as well. I just love that this movie understands who it's for. This is for the girls, gays, and theys. This is for the people who feel misrepresented in society. This is for the people who just needed dumb fun. There is something beautifully vapid about this movie. It made me think of Clueless and Mean Girls, which is mocking vapidness, but also being so beautifully girly in its just bubbly, like, cluelessness. It's fun. It's different. We don't get movies like this too often. We're not often treated to movies that just feel that they're made for a demographic through and through. Greta Gerwig definitely has some gays around her who advised her about what they needed to do for this movie to really appeal us. I mean, from the Ice Spice Nicki Minaj song to Charlie XCX's Speed Drive playing in the background of a chase scene. It's just little moments like that I'm like, y'all really, whoever put this movie together said, we got you. Like, it brought me back to, like I Dream of Jeannie and the Brady Bunch, the fun 60s cheesiness. It's here, which is, again, something so gay and so camp. I cannot believe this movie just really tried to do everything it did and succeeded. That's the craziest part. This movie's bold, brash, and does a lot of things, but it does not belong in the trash. Sorry, SpongeBob fans. This movie's bold, brash, and it's exactly what I wanted. And that's rare to find these days. I cannot believe I like this movie more than Oppenheimer. I mean, I can, but also I think this movie's almost better. This movie... Oh, Barbie. All right, everyone, that is it for my review of Barbie. I've talked about how this movie makes me feel queer, how this movie made me feel as a feminist. This movie made me feel a lot, and I'm glad you guys got to share this review with me, and I'm glad we got to have a movie like this. I hope you go out and see Barbie on this opening weekend. It is well worth the beauty and the insanity. It's worth the hype. It is beyond the hype. It is, to me, an Oscar contender. Production design, supporting actor. Maybe not Margot as lead because, you know how they're going to treat her, but Ryan Gosling? I like you. Production design, even directing. Greta Gerwig, you deserve that nomination because you directed a film. All aspects from, score to, the production design, cinematography. All of that was perfect, and that is a good captain of the ship. Greta Gerwig, you deserve your round of applause. Margot Robbie, everyone involved, thank you for this movie, and thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe, comment, all that jazz. We have a lot to get into with this movie. I want to know your feelings, so share them down below.